Duke football needs a new quarterback. Darian Mensah is leaving town. At first, he said he was going to stay. He even posted a video about it. But then he seemed to change his mind and enter the transfer portal. That's when the rumbling started that he might leave after all. So the university sued him. They said, wait a second, you can't leave. You have a contract. But today, the sides reached a settlement. So it turns out Mensah can leave after all. So what does it all mean? Do contracts and school spirit mean anything anymore? I went down to Murph's turf to get some answers. Murph.
How are you, Dan? Are you joining the transfer portal?
You know what? I might. I don't want to get sued, though. Tell me about Darian Mensah. Tell me what this settlement means.
Well, we don't know exactly what the settlement is, but it means that he can go and transfer wherever he wants, presumably Miami, and Duke is going to have to find a new quarterback, presumably the quarterback from San Jose State, and the game just continues on, right? Players transfer and new players come in and fill their spots behind them, but Darian Mensah and Duke, I think, decided they each had too much to lose by letting this get in front of a judge and decided to come to terms between themselves.
This is a student, though, a quarterback who ultimately gets what he wanted, which was to leave Duke, and now he's going to another school, which is going to be Miami. What does that say, though, for any of these type of lawsuits that come up, or these contracts that are broken down the line?
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's only been a year now that players have been able to sign directly with schools. And in the Mensah case, this was not a contract to play football. It was a contract for NIL license payments. So Duke was licensing his NIL and making payments on that. And so when you get down to it, it's not really an employee contract because you're not contracted to play football at Duke. And once he decided he wasn't going to, it was really going to be difficult for Duke to make him play football at Duke or to keep him at the university. And I think what we're waiting for is one of these cases to actually make it to trial and see what these contracts really mean and what they don't mean. One of the outcomes of this has been clearer buyout language. Okay, you want to leave, let's make it explicitly clear what you have to pay to get out of this contract. That's how coaching contracts work. That's how many contracts work. But the Duke contract with Mensah was very nebulous about how much he would actually owe if he wanted to break the contract.
You got to think eventually, down the line, one of these disputes will go to a judge. What could we learn, not just about how these contracts are handled, but how all of college, could it make big kind of changes to the way college football is run?
Yeah, I talked to a lawyer who said, the NIL license rights that are getting transferred from player to school are not all that different than the grant of rights, which schools are transferring to conferences. And if suddenly these NIL contracts are blown up, what does that mean for the grant of rights contract? And what happens if the state court in North Carolina says, no, these are ironclad contracts, you can't get out of them? But the state court in Tennessee or Texas or Florida says, no, of course players can get out of these contracts. Does suddenly all the schools in North Carolina have a difficulty recruiting because players say, well, I can't get out of a contract there, but I can get out of a contract in these other states? Like, there's a lot of repercussions down the line, and I think in the end it was smarter for Duke and Darian Mensah make peace, come to some sort of financial agreement, and let Darian Mensah go on his way.
I think this is a really hard hit for Duke fans. And I say that because, not just because they're losing a great quarterback to a team that almost won a national championship, but this is kind of the second time something like this has happened with Duke. Riley Leonard left and went to play for Notre Dame, and they played a national championship. They have these great quarterbacks they can't seem to hold on to. What does that mean for Duke?
Well, I think there's a big fear that you become a feeder system, that if you're not one of the top 15 or 20 schools in the country, that your quarterback leaves and goes to one of those schools every time you develop a star. And if that's the way college football is going to work, you may lose a lot of fans who just say, it's not worth it. Every time we have a good player, he ends up at Alabama or Miami or LSU.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Murph.